Day 19, CareerBoost initiative by the Instride Pathways Youth Foundation continues with a lecture on cybersecurity by Mr. Daniel, while we had an expert speaker share insights on a topic on the SDGs. The sessions were anchored by our moderator and in success.
Hello everyone, welcome to day 19 of the CareerBoost initiative for African Youth 1.0 program.
Now let's dive into the lectures.
Hello, good day, and welcome back to the cybersecurity course provided by Instride Pathways Youth Foundation, and this is the ninth section of the course, Safe Internet Practices. Okay, and my name is Peregrine Jedgard Inwa. Thanks for Instride Pathways Youth Foundation for giving me this opportunity to even follow from the first section till the 8th section. This is the 9th section. Okay, what we are going to talk about is basically educating you on how to use the internet safely. You'll be adapting some methods, some best practices, though I'll advise you to always check for updates either from my own channel, from my own social media platforms, or other cybersecurity professionals or other organizational platforms for best practices, because today this will be the best practice, but tomorrow it will be a way an attacker, a hacker, will be able to penetrate your defenses. So always check for updates when it comes to your own best practices, especially when it comes to information security or cybersecurity. By the end of this section, you will be able to understand the risks associated with browsing just haphazardly, browsing haphazardly without using some tools. Yes, browsing basically is a good thing, but then when it comes to you browsing in today's age, is really not something funny at all. So you'll be able to learn how to protect yourself in a way. You also be able to know how to practice safe communication methods online. All right, you also able to, okay, as you can see, you also be able to perform some practical activities to enhance your privacy using your browser security settings and secure communication tools. Now I'll advise you to not, for today's section, do not just be watching. We're going to do more of practical, or shall I say more of practical use, especially on what we have talked about, just the basics of cybersecurity. All right, the basics of personal cybersecurity. Okay, we're going to understand the online risk in the first place. We're also going to look at safe browsing practices, the theory, of course. We're going to look at how to recognize phishing attacks, how suspicious it is, or how it will be suspicious. Anything that is, well, I'm already talking about recognizing phishing attacks. Now we're also going to look at protecting personal information, securing your communication, social media safety, and password safety. Okay, of course, now for you to understand the risks, you have to understand that the internet is very open. It's a very big, large network, and it's very open, too open in my own understanding or in my own sense. While it enables communication, while it enables ease of use in this digital world, it's also a risk, one of the big risks platforms for people to lose themselves, and for people to lose their money, for people to lose their value, for people to lose their identity. First, one of the risks is data theft, in which or where cyber criminals take or steal sensitive information and they use it for something else. Data theft is very common, very common in today's world. Okay, we also have another risk, which is malware infection. If you're infected with malware, then it's also a risk, because you don't know which malware you are affected with. It might be a keylogger, it might be around somewhere, it might be any. So visiting some sites, in fact, actually, it's better for you. Okay, it's better for you to use an antivirus on your phone, on your laptops, on your desktops, on your tabs, on your IoTs, Internet of Things devices. Just make sure that you use antivirus or a basic firewall, or if you have the money or the capability to use a sophisticated firewall or paid antivirus, or even not just the paid antivirus but sophisticated antivirus. All right, because visiting malicious websites and even downloading some of these files can lead to malware infections. I've showed you, I've showed you how to look at some malicious files, or look for malicious files using VirusTotal, the graphical user interface of VirusTotal. So you use that, or you can also use the same VirusTotal GUI, or you can use URL void to check for the website, whether the website is suspicious or not. Now you can, another risk, online risk, is phishing attack. Okay, or phishing attacks. I wanted to say phishers, but the PHISHERS, right? Where scammers will create fake websites that mirror or look exactly or almost exactly like real websites, and then they will, or emails in fact, to trick the users into revealing important information. Another online risk is the invasion of privacy. Okay, where immediately you enter a website, your information is being downloaded, your information is being recorded. As you can see here on the text, it says that website and online services can track user behavior, of course, and then collect data without consent. That's why I'm going to do some things to you, or we are going to use some things in a way. Okay, now look at the top. Under the understanding online risks is the internet threat landscape. We're just trying to look at the threat landscape here. Think of the internet as a very, 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 very robust marketplace. While many vendors are very honest, but then some will be trying to steal, scam, or track your every move. Okay, now safe browsing is like knowing how to navigate that threat, that most threatful or treacherous market wisely. All right, we have some safe browsing practices. In fact, I won't say these are, for people these are safe browsing practices, but for some niche of people, like cybersecurity professionals, these are not just safe browsing practices, but browsing practices. These are their browsing practices. It's a must for them, because it's not even safe, it's a must for them. They cannot do without it. Immediately they buy a laptop, anything they are trying to use electronically, they must do these things before they even, it's already almost like into their DNA, because that's how they work. I'm pretty sure some of you, or few of you, or most of you, or all of you have this practice using HTTPS websites. If you see someone using HTTP website, or you try to log into, or try to just go to the URL, which is the inform resource locator of a website, let's just say bbc.com. if it's http column dash bbc.com, you know that that's not right. That's not a secure website, or that's not a basically, should I say, it's not even at the benchmark of a secure website. So entering any of these websites using HTTP is quite risky for you, because your information, or should I say your own traffic, is not secure. It's not secure. Basically, when I mean basically, is from the foundation, is not secure at all. So always ensure using website that has hypertext transfer protocol secure services before entering sensitive information. If you want to browse and you want to put your login information, make sure it's HTTPS. And that doesn't mean that because it's HTTPS it is really secure, but it's basically, should I say, the foundation. Yes, you can see the foundation is there for securing the website, or the website is basically foundationally secure. But you have to look at some things after that. HTTPS encrypts your data that is transmitted between your browser and the website. So if HTTPS is not being used, while HTTP is being used, man the middle attack will MITM will be very, very, very easier than how it will be when it is being done using HTTPS, right? And then the person can be able to see your information. The information will not be encrypted. Everything that every data that is being sent to and fro will be known and it will be in plain text. It will not be encrypted. It will not be in gibberish format. It will be in plain text. As you can see, eavesdroppers is eavesdroppers. Let's just say your password is 123, it will show 123. But if it's in HTTPS, it will show something else, to show a bit of gibberish, kind of, in a way someone will not be able to understand it, except that person has some advanced features and some advanced applications and some basic knowledge in a way to maneuver to attack you using HTTPS, right? Now, how do you check for HTTPS? Look for HTTPS at the beginning of the URL and a padlock icon in the browser's address bar. That's how to look for it. We're going to look at it later in the practical. Now, you also have to avoid clicking on suspicious links. Make sure you hover links to preview the URL before clicking. Some websites do this, some web browsers do this, some do not do that. So it's just make sure that you copy them, copy paste. Just do your best. In fact, if you are not sure about that website, right, if that website is not where you are going always, just make sure you use URL void or any of the tools that have been introduced to you, and also use this stuff, the virus total GUI, to look at it whether it's suspicious or not. If it's not suspicious, that doesn't mean it is not a fraudulent website, but it has already passed through these applications or these companies and it says it's safe, so you know that maybe this one is safe. It's either a very safe site or very, 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 very locking site, or should I say very, very a site in which it's very, it's just hovering there and there. It's hiding itself. It's really hiding itself, so it's not going to be easy for you to see. It's either if someone puts, let's just say if you are doing a background check, right? If you do a background check and you see the person is clean, right? The person is clean, or the family is clean, or your client is clean, or the company is clean. There are some meanings. Either it's really, really clean, or these people are clean, or the organization is clean, or it just shows clean because whatever method you use to check, it shows that it is clean, which means these people or this organization is hiding deep. Also, avoid links that contain misspelled words, unfamiliar domains, or seem out of place in the context they are presented. I'll still repeat that. Avoid links that contain misspelled words. Avoid links that seem out of place in the context where they are presented. Okay, if you are reading things, okay, a government, a school related something, and then the link links you to something entertainment, then as far maybe is something about entertainment in the school website or something, but then if it's out of context, the website is out of context, the link that is showing you out is out of context, then you should know something is wrong or something is suspicious. Also, avoid links that contain unfamiliar domains. Domains that you don't understand at all. There are some domains that are familiar, bbc.com, some familiar links. Let's just say openai.com, let's see, is it nigeria.com? Well, not like that, but federalgovernment.com, office of this.com, office of that.com, binaton.com, let's say these pharmaceutical companies.com, something logical. But if that link is not logical, then well, your suspicion radar should just pick up to around from between 7 to 10. Okay, now avoid downloading from untrusted sources. Yes, cracked softwares. Do not download cracked softwares if you are not very sure of who or whether that software is, whether that software has virus or not, or the website is having virus or not. Okay, only download softwares and files from official websites, app stores, or trusted sources. This minimizes the risk of accidentally installing malware. Okay, enable browser security features. Modern browsers today come in with their own inbuilt security features like pop-up blockers, safe browsing mode, and tracking protection. These modern browsers, they come with their own security features, right? But then I don't, it's not as if I don't trust them, but I'm not really content with their own, so I have to get my own or some different security features, okay, on my own browser. Anytime I'm using my browser, you will see later on. Okay, ensure these features are enabled to enhance your online security. Clear your browser cache and cookies regularly, and because these are cache or cookies, they store information or data from various websites, and keep it inside your browser. So if someone happens to hack into your browser, your computer, and look into your browser, look into the back end of your browser, they'll be able to get some information, maybe your password or so, or maybe your session ID. Now, clearing this data regularly helps protect your privacy by removing stored login information and tracking cookies. Yes, as it says, that's what it does, but then it has a downside, because you have to log in again, use all those credentials again. So it's, well, either security or enjoyment, or security or not peace of mind, but then just lack security. Either tight security, which will give you some problems when it comes to your own performance, but then it will give you security. But then reduced security will probably enhance your performance, but it will give you more risks of being hacked or of being at the back end of security features. Okay, now what are the safe browsing practices? Have you ever received a strange pop-up while browsing, or seen a not secure warning in your browser? Well, if you have, then that you have seen that, okay, this browser is not, this website is not following the exact or ideal way a website should follow. Your browser will have seen that and blocked it for you. So you either have to proceed at your own risk or go back. It's important to pay attention to these signs. Please pay attention to some of the signs. Okay, next up is phishing. Phishing is a form of social media engineering method where attackers will impersonate legitimate entities, to steal information such as login credentials or credit card numbers or SSN or any kind, or your BVN if it's there, your BVN, your address, just anything that pertains to you. Phishing can do that just through social engineering methods. Okay, how do you identify phishing? Whether you can see using suspicious email, you can look out for emails from unknown senders, especially those that create a sense of urgency, like your account will be deactivated in 24 hours. Really not possible. At least not that I've seen. Well, no, not that I've seen for some website. Let's just say big, in fact not even big, any company will not give you 24 hours to for your account to be deactivated, except your account has been hacked, and then they will not even do that for 24 hours. They will inform you first, but then a suspicious email will tell you something will be either deactivated for 24 hours or 23 hours something. But for some of you who have been in 2023 2024 watching Google, they have been sending some information. Okay, if you have not used your email, if your email has not been active for 2 years or 1 year, there might be a possibility of it being removed, and they'll keep reminding you monthly. So there will not, that's not a bit of suspicion. That's not a suspicious email, because you know, okay, this is coming, first thing, this is coming from a legitimate entity, okay, and is not giving you that sense of urgency. Okay, next up we have fake websites. Phishing websites often mimic real ones, of course, but they have been slightly altered. And their URLs have been slightly altered. Okay, make sure you always verify the website address before entering any kind of information, whether important or not important. Okay, for some websites you will see grammar and spelling errors, though I'll advise you this. I've seen this happening in legitimate websites. Yes, grammar and spelling errors. Many phishing messages contain grammatical error and awkward phrasing. Okay, in any of these phishing methods, when trying to attack, some, or should I say basic phishing attacks, have grammar and spelling errors, though sophisticated don't have. Though note that there are some legitimate entities that will have this kind of grammar and spelling errors, especially when English, well, mistake, maybe it will be 2 or 3 or 5 in a whole homepage or in a whole web page, but then some silly, easy rookie phishers, phishing social engineering guys, or phishing guys, you know what they do? They are really very bad at, they are really very good at giving grammar and spelling errors. So this is a way to identify easy ones. And now the next one is too good to be true offers. If an offer is too good to be true, it might or will be definitely be a phishing website. But sometimes, okay, yes, of course, some offers, if you receive an offer of free money prices or exclusive deals, which are, yeah, with these deals are often scams designed to trick users into revealing information. I've seen a lot from my own experience. You definitely have seen a lot from your own experience if you're in some groups on WhatsApp, Telegram, or any of the social media platforms. They will just send these. Maybe it's you, and yes, they can use Microsoft Forms, they can use Google Forms, just to trick you, to give them information about you. How do you protect your personal information? You protect your personal information through some of these ways. First thing, be cautious. First thing I say, be cautious with your personal detail. Avoid sharing sensitive information like your home address, phone number, school name, well, on public platforms like social media. I won't say this is impossible, but well, it's possible, but it's very easy for someone to find it. But still, just do it to avoid sharing some information. As you can see, home address, you think it's not sensitive. Phone number, you think it's not sensitive. Email, you think it's not sensitive. School name, you think it's not sensitive. Okay, school name maybe sensitive, right? But then home address maybe sensitive. Phone number, not sensitive, that's what you think, but it's actually sensitive because it can be used for attacks, or as a platform, or as a gateway for an attack, right? Now, use strong unique passwords. Okay, I've taught you a bit about creating unique passwords, strong passwords. Create complex passwords with a mix of letters, numbers, special characters, and avoid using easily guessable information like birth dates. Anything about yourself that is known to the public, do not use it. Do not use it. That's just a no in the password game. Use a password manager to store and generate strong passwords for different accounts. Most of you, some of you use password manager. In fact, some of you that have, in fact, all of you that have a Google account are are using Chrome, are probably using Google Password Manager. Yes, I love Google Password Manager. I don't love them, but I can say yes, they are secure, they are a bit secure, but then I really do not agree with their own policy, especially Google policies on their how they do business. So they sell some information, basic information, to advertisers, which is quite a no-no for me when it comes to privacy. So I do not like using Google Password Manager. So what I do use is some off-the-shelf password managers, OnePass, LastPass, Bitwarden, right? Now, two-factor authentication. Same with two-factor authentication, we're going to get there. Make sure you enable 2FA or multi-factor authentication for important accounts. That's contradictory for all accounts. Okay, you can see here email, banking, social media. For me, all accounts that allow any kind of account. Okay, let's just say maybe I reading a novel, or a novel site, or a shopping site, or fob, right? Fob site, or maybe a news site, right? If that news site allows multiple factor authentication or two-factor authentication, use it because it adds an extra layer of security by requiring a second verification step, such as a code sent to your phone in addition to your own passwords. Okay, think of 2FA or MFA as a double lock system for your house. Even if someone has a copy of your house key, which can be seen like your password, they still need that second key verification code to get in, so it will be a bit harder. Now, avoid public Wi-Fi for sensitive transaction. Do you really want my advice on public Wi-Fi? I really will tell you, avoid public Wi-Fi in all. That's it. Avoid public Wi-Fi in all. Because whether sensitive transaction or not, just avoid it. Public Wi-Fi networks are often unencrypted and allow attackers to intercept data. Avoid conducting sensitive activities. Avoid conducting activities like online banking when connected to public Wi-Fi. Okay. Use secure messaging applications. You can opt for messaging apps that use end-to-end E2E encryption, such as Signal, WhatsApp, many more, to ensure that only you and the recipient can read those messages, right? Telegram, you can also use Telegram. And now always use VPN, as it's good for encrypting internet traffic, just as an added layer, right? Protecting privacy when using public networks. Notably, in 2024, late 2024, or should I say mid 2024, you will have noticed that some VPN services are no longer, some of them are free, yes, but then the added features are no longer free. So you cannot use your browser integrated into, and OpenVPN to do some of the things you do for VPNs that you normally do in 2020 or 2021 or earlier. Okay, manage your privacy settings. Adjust your social media privacy settings to limit who can see your posts, your contact info, and your personal details. Of course, be mindful of what you share. Think before you post something. Think before you share anything online, because anything online can never really be deleted or cannot be deleted. It might not, someone might capture it, save it, and then re-upload it again, and it can be viewed by unintended audiences. Okay, how do you recognize scam? Common social media scams such as fake giveaways, phishing messages, and impersonation accounts should always be looked out for. Now, this is, if you did not get anything in today's session, is you should know one thing: do not, I repeat, do not be surprised about anything. Just be on guard for everything. Yes, I know it's a bit time consuming to be on guard for everything, but still, it's better I'm on guard for my life than when someone, just a common thief, I will say common thief, just comes and starts stabbing me, and then my life will be gone just like that, because I was not on guard for everything. Now, use password managers like Bitwarden, which can store and generate complex passwords securely. Okay, you should also know how to create strong passwords. A good password is at least, from my own perspective, at least 18 characters long, which I'm not comfortable with, but some websites do not allow 20 or 21 or over 24 characters, so 18 should be the basic. But for your day-to-day activities, please, when you are using when you are creating your own password manager password, which is your master password, do something else, do something strong, use something stronger. Okay, and then to generate your own password, you can use 42, 44, 50 if allowed by the website, so it will not be guessable. Right now, if you have questions, please put them in the comment section. We are going to go into some practical activities just shortly. I'll give we're going to go into some practical activities shortly. All right, let's go. What we are going to do firstly is go to this, your Google account, manage Google account. All right, this is Firefox. I'm using Firefox instead of and I think I should have mentioned it before. I prefer Firefox to Chrome. Mainly because of privacy policy and of course, and not their privacy policy but their own business formats. These days, Firefox is doing some things that are not exactly good for some users. Not good for some users, but palatable for some users. Okay, now you go to Google, you click this manage your account, and this is what is going to show: Google account, right? Go to Google, click the manage your Google account, and then this account was created basically just for this course. So I created it like that, and I put a password, basic password. So what we're going to do first thing is go to our security panel. We're going to go to our security panel, and we're going to edit some things, put some things. I think I've talked about Bitwarden before, password manager. So we're going to use Bitwarden for our own password manager. As you can see, it supports many it supports the web version. I have it here. It supports the desktop version, and it also supports the phone version, right? It has phone versions. Okay, now how do you protect your account here, right? Okay, it's, as you can see, yes, it shows me that I did this and this. I signed in a Blackview A70 Pro phone. I signed in on Windows, right? This Firefox is not my main Firefox. It's a portable Firefox. How do you sign in? Now you put on this two-step verification, right? This two-step verification. Okay, it still wants me to verify. Okay, the password here is, I'm going to show the password here, and just for those who are trying to are going to or try to hack into this account, no thank you. I'm changing the name soon. I'm even deleting this whole account soon. PJG guard 001 and at tests. If I'm not wrong, that's the password I created here. Yes, next. So I want to do, okay, it's wrong. Yep. PJGUARD 001 and at tests. Okay, it's creating now. I don't want I want to turn on two-step authentication, but what I want to do, I don't want to use my phone number. So I can use Google Prompt, I can use Authenticator, I can use phone number, which I'm not going to use. Please do not use phone number for this. Do not use phone number for two-step verification, except you have no other means of two-step verification or multi-step verification. Okay, you can use Authenticator, you can use Google Prompt, you can use passkeys. Passkeys and security keys are physical devices, and passkeys, your biometrics and your physical security devices or physical keys. Okay, I'm going to turn on two-step verification. It should send me to a place where I will go and activate my authentication application. So the authentication application I use is Authy. but you can also use Google Authenticator, right? Now you can see, first download the Google Authenticator app, the Google Authenticator from this, right? Then you set up the authenticator. I'm going to do directly, I'm going to be using Authy. It's basically the same thing. I'm not going to show you here, but okay, you go to your application. I'm using Authy, so I go to the application, I open it. Now it's okay, I go to not just settings, but I click the plus icon, which is add icon. I scan the QR code. I'm scanning right now as I'm talking. Okay, it's showing load. Okay, it's showing okay. Yes, Google pj card at gmail.com, which is right. So I will save it. Now put next, right? I'll enter the code. What's the code giving me? It's giving me 869464, and I'm going to verify. Is it right? Yes, it's right. So the authentication has been set up already. Alright, it has been set up like that. So basically this is how you create your own authentication application, and then you turn on. Right now, if I want to switch on this, I don't want to do that. I don't want to use this. Now I go back. If I want to use, and this thing is basically 30 seconds, 30 seconds. So after 30 seconds it removes, after 30 seconds it goes away. It creates a new 6-digit code, right? As you can see, my recent security activity here, what happened, I added a new layer of security, right? As you can see, step in, sign in step ahead, authenticator app. All right, I created that. Now we're done with this two-step verification. You can play around with it by yourself, or should I say not, you can do it. Now you can start using passkeys. Passkeys, as I've told you, is your biometrics, right? And now authenticator, I've done this. Recovery phone, recovery email, you can do this yourself. Add a recovery email. Okay, now your connections to third-party apps and services. This you don't need to add it, but you don't need to add it when you are using just basically a normal bot. For you folks who are using games or applications, let's just say Canva applications or some applications, news applications, any kind of application, you can, this is basically just like the security version of your Google Play games, right? Now enhance safe browsing for your own account. I'm not going to switch this thing on. I'm not going to switch it on. Why am I not switching it on? First things first, I basically do not like this enhanced safe browsing. Yes, it increases your security, but it's more personalized protection against dangerous websites and downloads and extension, which means it will track all the websites you go to, which means Google will track all the websites you go to. It will track everything you download, and it will track your extension, which is a no-go for privacy. So no, not for me personally. I won't do that. None of my accounts do that. Now password manager, you can manage your own passwords here, which I don't have to do because I'm creating my own password manager personally, right? Or I'm using a different password manager. Now data and privacy, you can tweak these settings as you see fit. Later on we're going to do some security settings for some social media applications like Twitter, which is X, and Twitter, which is X. That's the one we're going to deal with. If possible TikTok, but maybe not. but basically everything that is there is almost in everywhere. Right now you can review your privacy settings. Right, do you want your history switched on? No, I don't want that. I will switch it off and switch it off. I don't want them to look at my own YouTube history and my own web activity. I don't want that. That's a no-go for my own privacy. Right, next up, okay, you switch it, you turn it off. Right, you turn it off. So immediately you turn it off, it's going to switch off. After this, basically, yeah, pause. Yes, I want to pause it. What you are doing right now is removing the YouTube history, and if you remove it, the algorithm will not be able to get most of what you are doing. Right, when I mean the algorithm, okay, it's not going to push some YouTube videos that you like or based on what you have watched before. So it's just basically going to be like anything goes, not, it will not be personalized, it will not be your own personalization setting. So you will not have any personalized ads if you switch it off. That's also because of privacy. All right, that's basically because of privacy. Your personal information, you can do that. Your payments and subscriptions, please be careful about this. If you are using payments and subscription, make sure you are using real security settings, as I've showed you before. Okay, now we are going to go to, as you can see, okay, we have one by Google. Now Bitwarden is a password manager, the best password manager, as they say, for securely storing, managing and sharing sensitive online data such as password, passkeys and credit cards. Okay, now the moment you go to this get started, to show you to this, right, this is it here, as you can see here. Okay, as you can see here is basically this, right? So I'm basically going to do everything here. pjguard@gmail.com. Peregrine test, yes, that's the name. The password, so it's going to access the password here, and then you create the account. Okay, all right, this is a web vault of, okay, this is bitwarden.com and this is the web vault, right? And before we, as we are creating this web vault account, okay, it has been created, you may now log in. Okay, now remember my email. Shall I? No. Yes, doesn't matter. Continue. Right, log in with master password, which is the master okay, get master password hint. Right, cancel. You can get the master password hint, but we have our own. So what we do is, don't forget we have our own password, which is pjguard, apologies for that, pjguard 001 and at tests. Let's see whether it will work. Log in with master password. It should work. Okay, now as you can see, yes, these are my recent activities. It has already showed me welcome to bitwarden.com. It's opening my web vault, for the first time. Now it's asking me to do what? It's asking me to verify my email address account, which I'm going to do. I should receive an email soon. Okay, email has been sent, so it's going to take a bit of, well, we know how they are for now. Editing promotions, depends. Okay, let's leave it like this. But basically, this is just how your own application, how your own web vault will be. Now I don't want to do this import data because I don't have any kind of data somewhere else. If I have a data, okay, I did not show you how to export your data, which I'm going to do now. We're going to export the data. Okay, good. Now this is the verification. Email, it has already popped up, so you verify the address immediately. After you verify, I will refresh. After I verify, I will refresh this. It's going to show us that it has been verified. If my memory is right, I might need to still log in again. Is it verified? Let's see. Okay. You go to your password manager. Now to export your password, some of you might ask that question. That's why I'm doing this. To export your password, maybe you have been using Google Password Manager before and you want to export the passwords, right? It will be exported in .csv format. I think I need to, yeah, there's no password. Normally okay, settings, if you have password, there will be an option for you to export the password. Let's finish loading and let's see whether it has finished or if it has been verified. If it hasn't been, just still verify it. Good. Now settings, under the setting, it should have that export. Yeah, as you can see, export here. It's still loading, so let's allow it to load. But you can export it and even import it. Yeah, vault is still working. Now remember I said, okay, let's go to yeah, let's go to okay, yeah, let's go to Kali, right? Kali.org. I think I've used this, yeah, I've used this browser before to download off the shelf, which is cracked versions of applications and test them. Okay, don't mind the browser, but this padlock shows that okay, the connection, it's a bit secure, yes, and then this, and then is what is verified. The certificate was verified or given by Cloudflare Inc. You can also look for information, more information. It will open this tab for you. The general information for the website, the permissions, the security. It's not showing up, yeah, because it's not loaded. Yes, now this, okay, this is the general information. The title is, yeah, of course, this is the web address, is a HTML type, a text type HTML. The render mode is SC, standards compliant mode. the text. You can see here the when it was last modified here. Now this application time, okay, sorry, you can see everything put everything that has been loaded here, it's there. Now the media, what kind of media do we have? The picture, it's there. That's for the website, right? You can get information about the website from here. Now the permissions, use default, use default, use default. Okay, if you remove this use default, you can allow it and you can block it. Now the security, okay, now this is website identity. You can, have I visited this website prior to today? Yes, 24 times. It has already saved it. My browser has already said. Now the technical is using this kind of encryption, SHA-256 bits basic. It's just basic. Now it will view the certificate. You can view the certificate if you need to view it. Now US, California, SANF, SF, Cloudflare, Kali.org, issuer name US Cloudflare, Cloudflare Inc. Now look at this validity. It was done not before 18 January 2024. It will expire 31st December 2024. Okay, this is DNS name. This is the public key information. It's using elliptic curve algorithm. The key size is 256. These are just information you can basically get. The certificate authority was Digistat. Digistat was one that did it for Kali.org. Digistat Cloudflare, through Cloudflare, right? So these are basically what you can get here. The certificate for Kali.org. All right, you can get a lot of information. Now these are your own settings. Sorry, the protection, the security settings from the inbuilt security settings. Now let's go to the settings. Don't worry, I'm coming back to the web vault here. I'm coming back to web vault. PJ guard and wrong w1 and at test, right? If you notice, I've not used the okay. Let's pause the settings here. Let's pause the web vault. Let's go to exporting. Okay, as I said before, to export what? To export, it will download using what? A CSV or .csv format. It will not do that, not yet. PJG guard 001 and at tests, capital letter tests, right here. This should be the password, and it will still probably ask for my authentication format. Then that's wrong. Okay, that's a bit wrong, or a wrong way. It ought to ask me of authentication format, but still this will download for you. It will be in what format now? CSV.csv format. finish downloading. After it finishes downloading, you can now import it. If you have any, you can import it to any of these, right? You can import it to default here when it opens. Okay, still right. Next, let's leave that and come here. Now you tweak your own. Firefox is not your default browser. Yes, definitely it's not, because this browser is portable, as I've said before. Okay, now open previous at startup. That's not security. What I'm looking for is privacy and security, right? Good. Now this is standard, right? For balance, protection, and performance, pages will load normally, right? Now there is the option of strict, which is stronger protection but may cause some sites or content to break. So some sites will not even open if you are using this strict, right? This setting may cause some website not to display content or work correctly. If your site seems broken, you may want to turn off tracking protection for that site to load all content. That's one of the reasons I even I'm using Firefox. Basically, even without my own added protection from uBlock Origin and other extensions, I can also do my custom tracking. I can add some things, I can remove some things also. Okay, website privacy preference. Tell website not to sell or share my data. Send a website a do not track request. Now you can clear, manage the data, delete cookies and site data when Firefox is closed. Yes, also that. Ask to save password, no. Show alerts about breach password, yes. Requires device to sign in to fill and manage password. Use a primary password. That's if you have oops, I might have made a mistake. If you have an account with Firefox, okay, if you have an account with Firefox. Now history is also part of security and privacy settings. Now look at these permissions. Location, you can make sure that your location is not tracked by a website. Your camera, your microphone, your speaker, notification, autoplay, virtual reality. Okay, now all these are mainly for your own consumption. Go and place it. Now what I'm using, this is the first time I'm opening this because it's not my main browser. Now you can enable HTTPS only mode in all windows. Okay, which this means that if you try to open a HTTP site without HTTPS, right? If you put this in it.
Hello everyone, welcome to this lecture. My name is Albright Chineme Ikwemesibe, and I will be talking on the topic achieving gender parity in leadership. We'll be looking at the strategies and the challenges that faces gender parity in general and also in leadership. Welcome again. Before I talk a little bit about myself, I would love to appreciate Instride Pathways Youth Foundation for having me here and also for putting together this annual 30-day career boost initiative for African youth. This is really lovely and it is giving back to the community. Well done, Instride Pathways. Right. Okay, straight to who I am. Well, like I said, my name is Albright Chinime Ikwesibe. I'm a Nigerian graduate of the University of Ibadan. I studied European Studies and I am a deep lover of global affairs and sustainable development. During my undergraduate days, I was a member of the University of Ibadan Model United Nations, whereby we had simulations about the United Nations, and I had an introduction in how diplomacy works, international politics works, and it created a passion inside me. And from there, I collaborated with SDG like Minds to execute project, which was aligned with the SDG 3, which is good health and well-being, SDG 4, quality education, and SDG 6, clean water and sanitation. I love to see myself as a visionary change leader, future ambassador, and catalyst for change. Before we go right in the into the topic, I would love to say this. I want us to have a passion about the SDG, not because that we it is a list of things that a government body or an organization put together, uh, and it's used to sort out things, and making plans on SDGs can probably get you a job and such like that, or opportunities. But I want us to see the SDGs as a way to give back to the community. This is a list of problems that are facing the world globally. Each and every different parts of the world are facing this various I these various problems listed as the SDG 17. If you don't know anything about them, I would love to indulge you into them. I would love that you go back, do your studies on them right after this lecture, and know what they are. See what you want to do and start working on it. See what interests you and start working on it, so that you can live in a changed world, in a world suitable for you, and we are living a more suitable world for our next generation. Yes. So we're going to be talking about, this is the overview for the whole for the whole lecture. We're going to be looking at the definition of gender parity. We'll be looking at importance of achieving gender parity. We're going to be looking at the state of gender parity globally. We're going to be looking at, right here, we're going to be looking at the statistics and what countries are actually facing when it comes to gender parity. Then we'll look at the challenges to the strategies in achieving gender parity. I would love us to go through the challenges before getting to the strategies, because we cannot look at a solution if we don't know what the problems are. Once we know what the problems are, we can figure out, okay, what's the next step for us in achieving gender parity. Okay, now to the definition. Parity refers to equal representation and participation of women and men in terms of numbers, roles, and decision-making power in all aspects of life. This simply means that in every aspect of life, in workforce, in leadership, in a boardroom filled with executives, or brainstorm brainstorm meeting, or a parliamentary in a country, both men and women are equally represented there. We both have men and women there. We just don't have more numbers of men or and less numbers of women, or more numbers of women and less number of men. We need to have both more numbers of men and both more numbers of women equally represented there, and with an equal chance to speak and voice out their initiative and all. What are the importance of achieving gender parity? When it comes to achieving gender parity, we would be looking at getting to gender parity brings us to better decision making. When we have both a male and a female working on, let's say, a product that would serve the public, we need a a solution, right? A product is meant to serve to sort out a problem. And so we need a solution from both a male and a female, so that once their minds are put together, it can both serve the public, the general public. Let's General public, both the male and female. For example, let's say a toilet. If you've ever passed a male toilet and looked into it, just for some reason, if you're female or if you're male and you visited a male toilet, you'll see there's a urinal bowl there where it is easy for male to ease themselves there. But meanwhile, in if a woman was just in the decision making of that, of all toilets, oh, they would just say this is how it's comfortable for women. I don't think we need it in any other way. They would not be able to see, okay, how is it going to serve the men in the public. So the next importance is for increased innovation. Gender parity in leadership fosters creativity, innovation, and problem solving. Men and women think differently, while they think differently individually. Let me come again slowly. A man can think differently based on his gender and based on his individuality. So if you subject the public space to the public work or leadership to just a male person, there will not be a vast there will not be a vast uh, innovation or infrastructure in the world in general. Meaning that, okay, if a man is about to think about everything, he might not be able to cover everything. A woman their own self, and as the gender, as the female, possesses innovations that she herself brings to the table, and everybody's voices accordingly should be heard. And the next one is economic growth. We To raise the GDP of a country, you need more work laborers in the workforce. That means both men and women should be accorded accordingly to the workforce, so that there can be growth in the economy. And it also brings equal competitiveness. Both male and female can compete to get a leadership role, or to get a top role or in a company and such. Now, to the state of gender parity globally, we're going to be talking on the statistics. Mind you, okay, sadly, the gender that has suffered from imparity is the female gender. We're going to be talking a lot about the female gender when it comes to the statistics, because based on history, based on our current state, the women have been subjected to just the private sector. For example, during the Nazi Germany of 1933, when Adolf Hitler was ruling Germany, there was a propaganda whereby the women were not allowed to be seen in public work. Meanwhile, they were allowed to sit in the private work, meaning they had to cook. They were allowed to cook. They were even motivated to cook, to clean, and to take care of the children as their job, their day-to-day job. Like, that's their job. And if you sector, like in the public work, she's either a cleaner or a clerk. In today's world, we still have some conservative countries whereby they don't allow their women to work. They keep them, and if the women want to work in public sectors, they go through a lot of laws and a lot of strictness before they can get to work. And every day it's a struggle for them to work. Doing what they love is a struggle for them. And this is the statistics based on the World Economic Forum. This is the global gap report for 2024 according to the World Economic Forum. They stated that 146 countries included in the edition for 2024 stands at 68.5% for the global gender gap closed. There are 446 countries that were included in 2024 and they are just 68.5% through. Meanwhile, they are heading to 100%. That means the gender gap for allowing both men and female to be in the workforce, in the public workforce, has just been closed by 68.5%, just within 146 countries. Meanwhile, the United Nations recognized 195 countries. You can imagine the gap that still need to cover in this. And it further said, compared against the construct sample of 143 countries included in 2023, the global gender gap has been closed by a further plus 0.1% from 68.5% to 68.6%. That means if it is being compared to what they had last year, which they had 143 countries, it only covered by plus 0.1%. In the orange part in this graph, you would see the that this is the list of countries, and in the blue part, that's the percentage. The list of countries did increase. That is a plus for us, for the world, but then there's still so much more to do, because if it's compared, it's just plus 0.1%. That is not a lot of coverage. They furthered by saying, when considering 101 countries covered continuously from 2006 to 2004, the cap has also improved by plus zero point 0.1 points. In 2006, they had 101 countries, and in 2004, they have 146 countries. That's a lot. That's a plus. They had 45 countries added. But then, if you see the number of years that before they got that countries, the remaining countries added, quite it's quite far, and the gap that has been able to close meanwhile is also quite little. The uh, the the World Economic Forum further by saying, based on the current database, the World Economic Forum concluded that it would take 134 years to reach full parity, and that is roughly 5 generations beyond the 2030 Sustainable Development Goal target. The SDG 7 was created for it to be hit at 2030, but then they are saying it will take 5 generations to achieve full parity, 5 generations beyond to achieve full parity in the world. That is like that is like yeah, that's a lot of years. That's a lot of years to achieve this. Uh, the top 10 countries that has been able to close the gender gap in their country, in their economy rather. So the World Economic Forum also listed 10 countries whereby they were able to close the gender gap in their economy. And if you look at them, you will notice that 7 of the countries are from the European Union, and 3 of them are from either the Eastern Asia and the Pacifics. Meaning that the European Union are mostly the countries that are into achieving gender parity. But if you check it out, you will also notice that the European Union are also going further in achieving most of the SDGs, especially going green and cutting on climate change and dealing with climate change. And if you notice, first um the first country listed is just 93.5% into achieving gender gap. That is a lot of progress, I must say. But then, like I've been saying, there's still work to be done. In general, 97% of the economies included in this edition have closed more than 60% of their gap, compared to the 85% of the economies in 2006 edition, making the economic participation and opportunity gap closed by 60.5%. This is a lot of work being done on achieving it, and the economic participation and opportunity gap globally has been closed by 60.5%. We have like roughly roughly 40% to go. The political empowerment gap has been closed by 22.5%, and the women accounting for 42% of the global workforce. When it comes to the political side of, like, when it comes to women in politics globally, we just have 22.5. And me, we're talking about leadership here. Why not the political aspect of leadership? Women are in politics, but they are not really appreciated, they're not really encouraged. We see that people there are some countries that don't appreciate women presidents, but thank God that we're having a few women presidents come up, and a few female presidential candidates coming up, and it's such a relief. But 42% of the global workforce, that's where women are. And like I said, we're going to be talking mostly about women because they're the ones that have suffered. But I say suffer now, but then they haven't gotten gender parity in the workforce. Talk less of leadership. Gender parity in parliamentary representation reached a record high of 33% in 2024, nearly doubling since 2006, which had 18.8%. In 2006, there was only 18.8 parity. Now it is 33%. I know of countries that just opened their parliamentary to females before. They only had male in their parliamentary, and there are some countries that have females in their parliamentary, but whatever they say do not count. They are just there to to say, oh, okay, we have them there. Then we have up women make up over half of the workforce base in non-STEM roles, having 47.3%, while a third in STEM sectors of 28.2%. STEM means science, technology, engineering, and math. And now this is what they call professional roles. Meanwhile, we have 28.2% of women in those roles globally, while we have 47.3% of women in non-STEM roles. There's no work that is not important and important, but allow me to say it like this. According to their statistics or their yardstick, women are not really in the important work. We just have 28.2% of representation of women in in quotes important work. Now to the challenges, then we'll look at strategies in achieving gender parity. challenges we have faced is unconscious bias and stereotyping. This is when uh, a male a male says that, "Oh, okay, she's a female, she can't do this work," or "She's a female, she's too emotional, she's a female," or trying to beat down or stereotyping now when they say that, "Oh, that work is for males, it's not for me," or they say that work is for female, it's not for me. Hey, that is absolutely absurd, because there is nothing like a male's work and there is nothing like a female's work. Every work should be done according to each person's capacity, and a capacity is built based on your experience, based on your willingness to learn, based on what you know and how you execute things. So there is nothing like women's work, there's nothing like male's work. And funny enough, we have cultures, religions that have grounded this stereotype words, stereotype um jobs in us and make us think like, okay, a male can't do that. Why would a male be a nurse? Why would a male be cooking? That is really absurd. And the solution to this is bias training. I would also say that before a person can train another person in not being biased, the person has to come to the terms of fact that everybody is equal, both male and female, and everybody has equal chances in achieving their goals and their dreams in life. Everybody can reach out to do something if they want to do it, if their heart has been set to it, and if they're equally, or their experience, they're qualified. Yes. So when we have bias training in our hearts, where we see a male doing a particular work, we don't stereotype him. When we see a female doing a particular work, we don't stereotype her. That's when the bias training, we start by ourselves and start to talk to other people when we hear them say such like, a woman does not have a say in any discussion. This is men's talk. We have to put that down and say no. Hey, this is not so. This is not according. And that's where the bias training starts from. The next problem is lack of representation and role models. People, let me say now, people are looking for role models to look up to, because a female now can be in her bedroom or in her classroom thinking that, "Oh, I want to really be a governor," but then my father has said that my schooling has to stop in secondary school. How would I learn? How would I know what to do? There should be role models going out and helping those people people that have already mounted a sphere of influence. Let's say, for example, if a female wants to go into politics, if a woman that is in politics and influential enough, she can come back and give to the community. I've seen different politicians in other countries calling females from various countries into a conference room and telling them their experiences, giving them advices on how to do it. And when people that aspire to be this, when they see them that there is a person that is already doing it, trying to break the status quo, they are much more motivated. So I guess I've already talked about the solution already, which is implementation of mentorship and sponsorship programs, and people that are influential already in that sphere of influence comes back and sponsor people. Okay, you want to be this, I'm going to sponsor your education to do this. Okay, you want to do this, fine, I'm going to sponsor you to do it. Likewise, the male, a female can also sponsor a male that wants to do this. Like I said, there is no diversity, there is equality. When people want to do something and you know they are motivated enough, they are qualified enough, we give to them back by by helping them, by sponsoring them. Likewise, even people that are not yet in the influential role, you can motivate them into doing what their heart desires. The next problem we see is work life balance. Like I said again, I'm going to be using the female as an example because we all know the female to be the one in the home. They're the ones that get pregnant, they're the ones that have to nurse and all like and stuff like that. So when it comes to work life balance, I want to use an example of Iceland, and most of the European countries still that give their workers, their male workers, paternity leaves. You know, when a female puts to bed, she goes on a maternity leave, taking care of the children. Also in countries like Iceland, in countries like Iceland, Italy, Poland, Singapore, Spain, Netherlands, they offer 100% pay for full duration of paternity leave. Yeah, again, I've already again into the strategy enacting of paternity and maternity leave. When an organization or a government gives their male workers who have wives that are put to bed paternity leave to go home and take care of their children, take care nurture the baby, because the a baby, the children, they don't just need just the father, just the mother, they also need the father. I've seen children that don't grow up right, they grow up with insecurities and low self-esteem because they didn't find their father figure right in the home. Their father was taking care of the bills and working 24/7. But in initiating paternity leave and maternity leave, even any kind of leave, just to give them some break, even the workers themselves, they go on break, and the and the workers go on break, and even during childbirth. I know um I know of a system whereby the the wife goes on her maternity leave for the first 3 months, whereby her husband comes the next 3 months for his paternity leave and takes care of the child, while the wife is allowed to go back to work and focus on her career. That is where there is balance, there is a workspace balance, there is a home balance, that's a healthy environment. Also, when the children are getting older, we can have the mother can have the drop off and the father have the pick up, meaning that the mother have the time for the children during the morning, take care of them and take them to school, while the father brings them back from school and take care of them and play with them and have some time with his children. The next problem is resistance to change. Resistance to change. We have different cultures around us. We have different religions that support some things, and they're being conservative. Of course, they know why they have these structures in place to ensure that there is safety and there is no intrusion, there is no sin and such like that. The strategy is to make structures to reforms. When reforms come about where they say, oh, let's allow our wives to be in the public space, let's allow our females to be in the public space, and there's a kind of resistance, an organization or the government can assure that place, that particular environment, that particular tribe, that there's going to be a structure to make sure that there is not going to be any uh crossing of boundaries, right? There will not be spoiling, there won't be any spillage of culture, of tradition, and stuff like that. So these are industry specific challenges and strategies we have for the STEM fields. Addressing the underrepresentation of women in science, technology, engineering, and math, we can go by engaging from the start. Government can, or schools in particular, can ensure that their children, their students, their students learn from an early stage things on science, technology, engineering, and math. It's not that the instead of classifying it, before classifying it, probably in the primary school or in the junior secondary school, every child is implemented into the STEM field. They know everything particular they should know about it. They have a strong foundation to this. So when there is a problem, they don't look for particular professionals, because everybody knows as to an extent, everybody knows how to incorporate this field. Then the next one is corporate boardrooms. We need to increase women's representation on corporate boardrooms, in corporate boards. And yes, then the next one is politics and government. Achieving gender parity. This is achieving gender parity in elected and appointed positions. This boils down to individual bias and not picking a leader based on gender. Because I have seen whereby a female is running against a male in the presidential race, and oh, they say, oh, she's a woman, don't allow the woman be there, or let a man take the job, is a man's work. There's nothing like a man's work. Again, I'm saying that again. Then best practices and case studies. This is what we need to implement, or this is how we can implement the strategies, right? This is successful organizations. Analyzing companies that have achieved gender parity in their leadership, asking them like, oh, okay, you were able to achieve gender parity in this, like let's say country companies in Iceland. We'll ask them, how were you able to do this? What was the balance? And also, they can bring out more strategies into this. Then the next one is country specific initiative, examining national policies and programs on gender parity. Like I said, there are different countries that have different propaganda and policies. And when we examine national policies that encourage women to be in the public workforce in leadership, we're able to know and say, oh, okay, this is how we're going, how they did it. Let's see if this works for us, and if in the long run, if it works, will they implement the policy in full. Then lesson learned, sharing experiences and insights from leaders who have driven gender parity initiatives. Now we go, like when we go to different leaders or different organizations and looking at, oh, okay, there are more men represented and also more women represented. How did you do this? Learning from them and their process. So I would love to give you a little charge. As much as we talk about the main gender and how the male gender is there, we are not trying to demean the male gender at all. But then we all know that the female gender needs a lot of work, and we know that we need more women in spaces so that economics economy economic growth of different countries and even the world in general can bloom. We need to We need to motivate our females. We need to motivate the women in our countries, the women in our organizations, the women in our in our schools. We need to motivate them in being empowered in different spheres of life, be it politics, be it the media, be it wherever, computer in tech, be it wherever. We need to empower them and encourage them to be there, and also give them the skills, teach them the skills on how to yield tangible qualifications, right? So this will be all on our talk, on our lecture today. Thank you all for listening. I hope this really gave you a change of mind. Thank you very much.